A very good morning to all our viewers who joined us live on this broadcast here on Moneycontrol. You're watching Opening Bell with me, Stacey Pereira. Now, it seems like markets did close off moderately higher, we would say, on August 14, and then we took that break. But now that handover that we're getting seems pretty much that can take us forward, perhaps. We managed to sustain that 24,100 mark. And we could say an upward movement is something that one can expect. At least if you look at the immediate resistance level, somewhere around 24,200 or 300 is where we could see. Whereas if that index does fall below that 24,100 levels, then that support is where we're going to have to look at somewhere around 24,000 levels. At least that's what the benchmark or the Nifty is what we're tracking at this point. But overall for the week, it will be 2 weeks of losses is what we've seen so far. Can we manage to snap that losing streak and get back into the green for the week? We'll have to wait and see till the end of trade. But before all of that and before we take up all of your queries and get into discussing what stocks and strategies you should be adopting in this kind of market, let me take you through all the top headlines. Indicates those recession fears may be overblown. The CPI inflation for July also came in at 2.9%, its lowest level since 2021. And stocks in the Asia Pacific region trade higher this morning following those strong gains on Wall Street. The GIFT Nifty is also suggesting a higher start for the Indian equity market. And crude prices have rebounded from the 2 days of losses. Brent crude has climbed above $80 a barrel as those recession fears ease. And Ola Electric at its flagship Sankalp 2024 event announces its foray into electric motorcycles with 3 models under the Roadster range. The company also releases Bharat Cell, an indigenous battery cell to further fuel its EV aspirations. We're going to be talking about a lot of auto stocks today because a lot of them, we saw new launches from M&M as well as all of this from the EV space with Ola's new launches. But let's take you a little bit back and see what our setup looks like for the markets. We did close at that range-bound session that we saw on August 14th, where the broader markets were the underperformers, we would say, which also turned the market breadth quite in favor of the declines at this point. So we saw the Nifty rising just about 150 points in trade, whereas Nifty just about 5 points, so rather flat and range bound. We could say that we were before we left off for this truncated week. So 24,144 is where we stopped, and it was the IT stocks that were among the top gainers, whereas it was the pharma stocks that were the biggest laggard. And IT stocks perhaps will also get that leg up today after we're seeing good data coming out of the US, where even the jobless claims have dropped, whereas even the CPI inflation number has come quite to one's ease, one would say. At least the estimates were pegging it much higher, above the 3%. It's come at 2.9. Now, in India, though, we did see mining stocks that were, taking quite a beating, we would say, in the last session. This after the Supreme Court affirmed that states would go on to levy that tax on minerals. This pretty much put them, or rather hammered them out of shape, you could say, for the metal pack. But if you look at the option queues and you're seeing the Nifty PCR or the put call ratio jump almost to 1.14 levels compared to the 0.78 levels that it was in the previous session. So that would perhaps give the bulls some bit of comfort or some reason to be seeing that there is steam still left in the market. In terms of stocks that are in your F&O band, almost 19 stocks placed there. Added to that list is GNFC, NMDC and Piramal Enterprise today. But already in that list has been Aarti Industries, AB Capital, AB Fashion, Bandhan Bank, Biocon, Birla Soft, Chambal Fertilizers, India Cements, Manappuram, also PNB, and we're going to be talking about SBI and PNB and all of the news flow that is coming in from Karnataka, where they've told them not to go ahead with any kind of further deposits or even to withdraw all their accounts from both of these state banks. So that's going to be interesting to watch out for. But if you come in terms of the fund flows and what we saw in the last trading session, FII still remain net sellers, selling stocks worth of 2,595 crore rupees, whereas it was the domestic institutional investors that continue to do the buying. 2,236 crore worth of stocks is what the DIIs bought in. But let's quickly get going with the stocks and strategies you need to be adopting. We have barely a minute to go before trade, so maybe I'll go quickly to my guest. Raja Venkatraman joins me now. He's the founder at NeoTraders. Raja, quickly, I know we discussed this before also about what kind of strategies and stocks one should be keeping on their radar. We are on a weekend. Could we see the Nifty actually go past that 24,100 levels, and what are the kind of stocks that you have on your radar?
Yeah, good morning, Stacey. So the way the markets are poised, they're definitely poised to open much higher, and thanks to the global market cues. So right now we are heading down the global market cues, and the trends looking to be encouraging. So as far as the trading perspective is concerned, there are some interesting setups which I have. And the levels which I would like, the stock which I would like to recommend is Naukri Info Edge. They came out with good numbers, and I would like to recommend it at current levels and expect a target towards the region of around 74.50 to 75.50 within the next 1 to 2 days. So you could take it as an intraday play or the multi-day play, and it seems to be a very strong candidate. And the other candidate which I would like to recommend is MCX at current levels, and you can have a stop loss at around 43.90 and have a target of around 44.75. Both these stocks are doing well. They managed to hold out in the rough weather. I think that these stocks should do well by today and also continue ahead in the next week as well. Now coming into Nifty and Bank Nifty, I feel that the tailwinds are definitely there, but there are also headwinds at the moment. However, the caveat here is that we are at an important low point in Nifty, which is around 23,900. And I believe that that level should hold in the interest of the bullish momentum. Now, when you talk about momentum, we are looking at particular triggers, and I find from the option data that we had the PCR had gone dipped towards around 0.60, which is a sign that we are getting into oversold levels. So that's the reason why we will be seeing some bit of recovery here. Now, looking at the market condition, there have been a lot of shorts built into the system. So I would wait for the first half an hour of the day to really find out what exactly is going to happen, how the markets are going to pan out, and then I will be taking some decision. But at the current juncture, it's a wait and watch approach for me. Though markets are bullish, they are not resonating with the stocks as well. So it's going to be a pick and choose day, stock specific action. So be
Right. In
wise
fact,
in your stock picking because markets are not bullish across the board, and that's why I would have a very cautious approach, and I would wait out for the first half an hour of the day to before really take a call on what I need to do. Now moving on to Bank Nifty, I
right,
still
Raja.
find that 51,000 level is going to be a tough resistance zone, and unless 51,000 level is crossed, there is going to be continuous selling. So you have the Nifty IT and the Nifty doing fairly well, while Bank Nifty is struggling to hold on. But then the positive side is that we are going to have two weekly candles of doji or uncertainty, which is a good sign in a way for a recovery here. So I would wait and watch out Bank Nifty, and if the kind of sector which is forming in the right in the morning continues by the end of the day, then Bank Nifty could be a very good bet for the
Right. Raja, just hold on. Let's address market open. In fact, while you were discussing this is when we saw we're pretty flat, we would say, at this point for both the Nifty and the Sensex. 24,140 odd levels is where we've opened there, and the Sensex also around about just 150 points that it's taken in the first few minutes of trade. And like you were pointing out, those levels both for the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty is something that will be interesting to track, even the stocks that you did mention. But let's talk about more banking stocks. Now, we did get some news flow that came in for SBI as well as PNB. This after the Karnataka government has decided to suspend banking with both of these state lenders. They've gone on to say that SBI as well as PNB, they've asked all of the government departments to close their accounts with both of these banks, and that no further deposits or investments will be seen into SBI as well as PNB from the Karnataka government per se. They are also alleging misuse of government funds and illegal transactions by from SBI and PNB. They're talking about misappropriation of somewhere around 10 crore worth of funds is what CNBC TV 18, our sister network, is also reporting from what is really transpired. Of course, both the banks have said that they're keeping the channels of communication open, and they want to make sure that there is no further. But do you think this can really go on to dent both SBI as well as PNB, and how should one be looking at the news flows when they come in such a way for these two particular stocks? Because SBI has been among the favorite, at least when it comes to the PSU stock, PSU banking pack at least.
Yeah, so when you take a look at the PSU banking space, they have not really been able to shown some metal here. And then when you take a look at the entire banking pack, the entire banking pack has gone into a slumber. So now, after being in such a long phase of consolidation for more than 2.5 months, I don't think that any kind of negative news is going to trigger any further downside. Now, when the overall market momentum is positive, these stocks will be best left alone. There is no meaningful support out here, nor there are any meaningful triggers which can encourage a buy opportunity here. So these stocks should be best left alone. And those who are holding positions should continue to hold on, because overall the momentum continues to remain sideways. So it's best left alone.
Right. A couple of metal names, and it's quite interesting what we saw in the last session, after that news flow about Supreme Court order asking banks to go ahead and put in that tax. We did see those stocks get quite beaten up. But there's also news flow coming in from Vedanta, where they are looking to pare their stake in Hind Zinc. Now, they're looking to sell about 3.17% stake this via the OFS route, which will be opening from August 16th to 19th. Remember, the OFS includes a base size of 1.22% and the oversubscription option too, or in case of an oversubscription, then another 1.95% is what they will be putting out. The floor price for this is somewhere around 486 rupees per share, which if you look at the current market price, it's about a 15% discount that we're talking about. But metal stocks, do you have any favorites there, Raja? And, in fact, there's a query also coming in on particularly NMDC. There is Krishna, who's holding about 500 shares of NMDC at, I think he's purchased them at about 260 rupees. He's suggesting, what would you ask him to do with this particular one? Should he buy, sell or hold at this point?
Overall, the metal names have been under the weather, and they will continue to emit some negative vibes out here. So when you're talking about NMDC is at the moment an exit clause is appearing on NMDC. So it would be best to exit this and look at some other sectors that are doing well. So if some investors are listening to this, so oil and gas space is a pretty interesting space that is showing some positive momentum, and the other space is the pharma space that is continuing to weather the storm. And over the last 3 months, I find that the pharma stocks have been continuing to build on from the lower levels. So these are two sectors which one should focus if your outlook for the market and your capital to hold on and generate an alpha is over the next 6 months. So oil
Hmm.
and gas space and pharma would be those two sectors which I am actively tracking.
Interesting. So you're saying that one could actually see stocks that could generate alpha could be among the oil and gas and the pharma space, and we've seen the pharma space give quite a bit of different kind of reactions. In fact, if you just look at Glenmark Pharma, this is to do with their Q1 earnings. They reported about a net profit about 340 crore rupees versus just a 37.7 crore rupees. Revenues too are up by about 6.9%. Margins have seen a good uptick of 18.1% versus a 14.4%. So quite an interesting, numbers coming up there for Glenmark Pharma. Raja, switching gears, I would say towards the whole auto space. Now, yesterday we saw launches by Ola from the EV space. It's foraying into the motorcycle part of the two-wheelers and not just the scooters like what it was doing before. And this also after it has come out with its numbers. Now, if I have to just take you through Ola's numbers, of course, the net losses have widened to about 347 crore rupees versus the loss of 267 crore rupees. Revenues, though, are up by 32.3%, 1,644 crores, whereas the EBITDA loss now stands at 205 versus the EBITDA loss of 218 crore rupees. So overall, the commentary was very positive from even if you went back to hear what Bhavish Agarwal was putting out there. The whole the idea that he wants to bring about how if Tesla is for the West, Ola is for the rest, is one of the statements that will go down perhaps to remember of how one really thinks of Ola and the EV space. But your take on not just the new launches that they've come up with, but also the fact that they're foraying into the battery cell part of the business, and how is that really going to work for Ola and the overall EV space?
Yeah. So when you talk about the EV space, it has always been about the battery, be it lithium companies or people who have gone about making the battery. So now with Ola coming into the fray and showing its vision and showing its prowess, I think that people have a lot of names coming at their doorstep. Now a new name will always attract interest, and Ola definitely has been
Hmm.
a regular. It's a consumption item which all of us are using. So the affinity to Ola will definitely be there, and that would what bring more people seeking it out. So as along with the price action, there is also a required affinity to a particular product, and I'm sure that Ola mobility will attract attention, and that's what we are seeing right now. That despite a very fractured market at the moment, the stock is attracting attention. And when you consider the entire battery space, I think that Ola should continue to do well. And at the moment, it is managing to hold on to higher
Right.
levels. So I think that the growth prospects will get even better when the overall market condition improves.
Absolutely. In fact, that stock, ever since its listing, has only seen, higher highs. It was locked up in the upper circuit for at least two sessions. Today also, you're seeing this kind of rise. This after HSBC 2 has initiated a buy coverage. They've put a target price of about 140 rupees per share. And they look at how this EV penetration in India is something that is going to grow further. But also, moving on to the four-wheeler space. And then we saw the likes of an M&M also unleash a new it's Thar Rocks series, or at least that one, and somewhere at a good price point as well. That this one has come to the markets now. A couple of brokerages have come out with calls on it. Nomura has a buy call with a target of 3,417 rupees per share. They do see that this new whole facelift that the Thar series is getting is something that will be quite successful, and in fact see improved sales also because of this. You also have a Morgan Stanley who continues to have an overweight call. They have a target price of about 3,304. They see that all of this, the kind of sales numbers that have come out from M&M has been quite positive so far compared to its peers as well, and they say that the fact that they are coming out with new launches, trying to beat up with competition, they might really see themselves as among the top PV players. Do you have any preferred picks, Raja, among the four-wheeler auto pack? Because we're seeing a lot of traction when it comes to even the likes of a Tata Motors, M&M, or even a Maruti for that matter. Would you have any preferred choices among these?
Yeah, amongst the four-wheelers, I would definitely go with the Tata Motor, considering their numbers and also considering the kind of moves which it has shown. I feel that there is a bit more clarity here, and I would say that the I'm waiting for levels of around 1100 to be surpassed. So where I can expect a target towards 1160 within the next 7 to 8 trading sessions. So I'm keenly watching and actively tracking Tata Motors. It's got a positive start to the day, considering the morning relief which we have got on the bullish side. So now we need to see whether it's going to
Yep.
stretch above 1100, which will bring it to a very good stage for initiating a buy action.
Right. In fact, since we're talking about the auto space, there's also a Goldman Sachs report on Hero MotoCorp. They have a sell call on Hero Moto with the target of 4,150. They do see a miss in the Q1 numbers, where especially the gross margins have come at just about 32.3%, which is a 50 basis point below what was being estimated by them. So Hero MotoCorp is going to see some bit of, in fact, 2-3 brokerages that have come out with reports post their numbers. But Raja, let's get some queries answered then quickly. There is one coming from Srivardhan Gupta. He's asking your view on Goldium International from a short term as well as a long term perspective. What would you suggest to him?
Yeah, so Goldium, after a very long phase of consolidation, has given a strong breakout above 200. So I believe that this breakout should sustain, and one should definitely not add at current levels. The overall target for this particular move, which has been shown in Goldium, is spread over multiple weeks. So I believe that this stock is a good stock to hold, and I can expect a target of 400 within the next 1 year.
Interesting. There's another one also coming in, and this one is on Sonata Software. I think this space is also quite interesting to be tracking. Your IT in general that we talk about, but even these smaller ones among them. What are the charts really suggesting for Sonata? But we can also talk about the overall mid cap, other IT, or in the R&D IT space. How do those stocks really fare?
Yeah, so Sonata Software is just witnessing some reaction here. So I would not say that there is some genuine buying emerging here, because there is no meaningful support that has been reached at the moment. But then overall, when you take a look at the software, so technology per se has now been divided into various forms of technology, which I keep sharing every time when I come
Yeah.
online, that technology is not the traditional IT space as such. So there are healthcare based technology, there are uh, defense based technology. So now when you take a look at Sonata Software, it definitely IT services are particularly quite interesting, and that's why I had a recommendation on Naukri. And even when you take a stock like say Dixon, or when you take a stock like Zentech, so these are some stocks that continue to do well. And these are the stocks which actually one should be participating in, because the market momentum is definitely quite encouraging. And these are the stocks which one should be tracking and participating, rather than looking at the large cap names, because that's what we have been used to over the past. But now there is
Yeah.
a time for us to shift the way when the kind of IT services, software or IT may sound very broad based now. The Indian market
Yeah.
is changing, especially when it comes to technology.
Right. So we are seeing that shift. In fact, okay, let's also get a few more queries answered. Alex wants to know your view on Amara Raja, especially after that Giga factory that they've launched. And, even since we're talking about autos, auto ancillaries also are something that have seen a good momentum. So what are the charts suggesting for Amara Raja?
Yeah, Amara Raja, especially after its name change, is showing some promise, and the stocks continue to do well. I think that one should continue to wait for a reaction. There is no cause for exit, but then I would wait for a move above 1700 because that's what the stock is contesting right now. And I would not be in a hurry to get into the stock. But if you are already holding Amara Raja, hold the stock with the stop below 1450.
Right. Another one quickly, HCC infrastructure. Punna Rajesh wants to know, and maybe we can also speak about realty and how that one has been reacting of late. Do you have any specific picks among the realty pack?
Yeah, Realty Pack, I do not have any specific trades right now because all of them are still decoding the budget reform. That it would take a while for us to really get
Hmm.
out of this scenario. So I would wait a while. I would take a look at the overall scenario and then take any suitable decision. But at the moment, reality is an avoid.
Right. What about HCC infra, since this is a query that is coming, that one?
Yeah. So HCC Infra again is facing some consolidation. So keep a stop below 42 and continue to hold on.
Right. Quickly, Raja, just to sum up, you did give us a couple of stocks that we could be looking out. You also said look out for the oil and gas and pharma space. But any specific stocks that are on your radar? Until what timeline should one be looking at them and their target and stop loss that you could help our viewers with?
Yeah, so I've already suggested two stocks, Naukri and MCX. They are faring well. Now, the other stock which I would like to suggest is Siemens. And Siemens has come into some good set of supports. And I would say that, yes, the price is definitely on the higher side. But then for those who are trading in futures, they can definitely consider this because I expect a movement of Siemens closer towards the region of 7,500 within the next week. So this would be a good time to consider this on the long side.
Right. Well, we've given you all quite a few of stocks that you can be choosing from. Raja, thank you so much for giving us your time and speaking to us here at Money Control, helping our viewers with their queries. I hope you have a great weekend, and we look forward to touching base
Thank
with you
you.
next Friday. And to all our viewers who've tuned in, well, do keep sending us your queries on our live feed because we'll try and get them addressed by our experts. And don't be disheartened in case we've not taken it up on a particular day. We do try and answer as much as we can in our show. But for now, we'll have to wrap it up here. Markets are trading pretty flat, we would say, but we'll have to wait to the end of day to see whether we manage to actually snap that 2 weeks of losing streak that the Nifty at least has been seeing for the past 2 weeks. We've had a good we would say momentum during these trade, range bound, but still managing to hold on to those 24,000 levels. So 24,100 and above is where we're hoping. If we do manage to sustain that, then perhaps it can be another week, or we would be getting into the green once again. But for now, from the entire team that puts this feast together, thanks so much for tuning in. Do send us your feedback on our comment section, as well as follow us on the link at the bottom of your screen. For all your other updates, keep coming back to moneycontrol.com as well as the Money Control app. Wishing you a very happy weekend.